Hey Commodore 64 enthusiasts, Vinny Mainolfi here with a preview of FREEZE64 magazine issue 78, which was released in September 2025. So this issue features Jack the Nipper 2, which was by Gremlin Graphics on the front cover. Took me quite some time to get this image right. A lot of cleaning, redrawing, cropping out. But it works, and it works really well. I think that came out just right for that cover. So spot on. So anyway, that's the cover. Then we have our load index page. There's Terry Lloyd. So Terry Lloyd is the graphic designer who produced the graphics for Jack the Nipper 2 and a whole load of other Gremlin Graphics games for the Commodore 64. There's our welcomes page. Then our main feature, which is Jack the Nipper 2. So it's been a while since I properly played Jack the Nipper 2. I wasn't particularly good at it back in the day. But I did enjoy playing it again. It's got a massive map. And in fact, I wanted to use the map because I have it, because I think it was Tony recreated the map, and also Terry suggested we printed it, but it wouldn't fit in the magazine width-wise. Anyway, here's my retrospective look at Jack the Nipper 2, and then Antonio Bianchetti, he has a say about the game because it's one of his favourite, if not his favourite, Commodore 64 game. Then we have Warren Pilkington with Hidden Harmonies. So Warren finds some hidden Commodore 64 tunes that we may not necessarily have ever heard or paid attention to, because majority of us always kind of stick to the classic, like Rob Hubbard or Martin Galway tunes. And so between me, Warren and Frank, we come up with a list of games that Warren can kind of talk you through. So the trick really is to, when you're reading Warren's summary of each tune, is to actually load the tune up itself and have a listen. They're all great tunes, and then what I do at the end of this feature is I give my comments on the tunes themselves as well. Moving on, we have Julian Rignall's fabulous Crapback feature, which in this issue looks back at November 1986, which was issue 19 of Zap 64 magazine. So he looks at all the crap games, the games that scored low back in those days. So we've got Velocipede 2, which I quite enjoy. I mean, it's not a massive game there, but it's still a fun kind of game to play. Ninja, which is one of my favourite budget games. I still don't understand why it scored so low. I get it's basic in style. I get it's not the last Ninja, but it was only £2.99, and it's got a great tune. I like the music. Sound 22. I don't know. I enjoy it, but it's Julian's feature, and obviously Julian and the team didn't enjoy it, and so that's what we have to report. Room 10, don't remember it at all. And what did it score? It scored 15%, so no wonder I didn't pay that much attention to it. You see, look, the wee Willy Winky's getting beaten up there by the ninja guy. Anyway, moving on, Secret Squirrel. This time looks at BC's quest for tyres and finds something in that. Tarzan, something in that, and then Ice Palace, which was created by Paul Norris, who was our previous issue's interviewee. So here's our guest, Terry Lloyd. He provided us with some great photographs, and so I made this centerfold of his photos, and also these graphics that he'd been working on because he was going to start developing a new Commodore 64 game with Chris, I think it was. Both subscribers, by the way, both Chris and Terry are both paying subscribers of FREEZE64, so it's very kind of them to support. Here he is himself, Terry Lloyd. Worked on all these games for the Commodore 64, worked on a ton for and the ZX Spectrum, which you'll find out in issue 2 of FreeZX magazine. But I started this interview with Terry, I thought it was 2 years ago, but just before I did this video here, I checked my records, and it was actually over 3 years ago that I started my conversation with Terry. So really, this interview you're reading is over the period of 3 years. And we chat probably now online near on every week, I think, or email every week. And he gives me more information about his games, and we will have Terry in the next issue as well. He's got more to chat about. There's some of his games, the graphics in the games that he's helped produce. So it's Future Night, Avida's A Monty, which is going to be in issue 2 of FreeZX, Rebounder, and Prince Clumsy, which is our next cover feature game for the next issue of FREEZE64. So that's issue 79. So that's the interview with Terry. Carl Hornell's back with his Phantom Pixels. So what happened is Carl shared some of his discs with one of his friends who was backing them up, and they found a whole load of elements that were games in the making that really Carl never finished off, or not even started in some cases. I think with this Egg Hunter, he just started creating the bitmap loading screen for it. And then we have the Mouldy Cupboard, which features Cops and Robbers from Atlantis Software. Now, Cops and Robbers has been mentioned in a previous issue of FREEZE64. I think Julian mentioned it in, what did he mention it? In one of his crapback features. And I don't really remember playing it, as with all the Mouldy Cupboard games. But I quite enjoyed getting into it and seeing how many screens there are, and I did start creating one of my crazy hacks for it. I haven't finished it off, but that's the Mouldy Cupboard, so Cops and Robbers. And then our final feature is the development, the next part 7 of Operation Vostoka, which, what are we today? 19th, I think it's the 19th of September. Last Sunday, Chris sent me a recent build of the game, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's beautifully designed, though you can't see it in these screenshots, but trust me, when we get closer to closing this feature, you'll start to see how gorgeous the game is, and it plays really well, and it's a lot of fun. Very well thought out as well. So that's the making of it. That's part 7. I've already page set part 8 for the next issue. So that's quite exciting. And then our back page advert is oldschoolgamer.com. So there you go. That's FREEZE64, issue number 78. And you can grab a copy of that from FREEZE64.com.